Hello, everyone, and welcome to our, I guess, hybrid NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. I almost said 2, but that was last year. Takeover Brooklyn 3, Summerslam 2017 prediction show. Brooklyn is tonight. I if I were actually going to the show, I'd probably be on a bus right now and not be able to do this. So I guess it's a good thing I decided not to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it makes sense.
and So that's tonight. We're gonna be kind of pretty close getting this up for you before the show, but we'll be there probably.
Consider it the pre-show.
Yes, you can watch this instead of the pre-show because we're far more interesting, but not as good looking as Kathy Kelly. Nice cut of person.
Yes. She's a nice lady.
She's a real nice lady. Move to Long Island and have a baby.
Just
Um,
like just like Bobby Roode on our first
Woo!
match.
Well, that's probably going to be the main event. So
All
I'm
right,
guessing
we always
this
got
is
backwards.
we gotta
Crap.
flip it. Gotta flip the cards. So take over Brooklyn 3 from the Barclays Center. And this is probably the weakest of the Brooklyn cards so far on paper, but I've said that about the last like 3 takeovers, and they've all turned out to be pretty good. So we have Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Almas with Zelina Vega, which is actually Austin Aries' wife. So that's interesting that she's still working for WWE when he is not.
Take what you can get.
This should be a really good match. Both of these guys can go. Um, They're not really doing much of anything with Andrade at the moment, and Gargano just came back after the heartbreaking breakup of DIY.
Hmm.
So I think the babyface goes over here, heat the crowd up, get them into it, feel good win. People are into Gargano.
Yeah. Seems like the sort of thing you do. I'd agree with you.
Next up, we have Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami in what should be a really almost like a kickboxing match, more so than a wrestling match, with these two guys. This should be good, but I see Aleister Black's undefeated. I see no reason why Hideo Itami should be the man to beat Aleister Black. So I'm going to have to go with Aleister Black in this match.
Yeah. Not really a great place to break the streak here.
So this is one of the most interesting matches on the card we have here because it is straight up heel versus heel, like no ambiguity or
Yeah.
anything like that. We have the offers of pain versus sanity. Now, I get no one's really heel in NXT because it's this weird parallel universe where everyone's over. Um, but like, goddamn, this is risky booking, to say the least. Offers of pain. I don't know. I think sanity. I'm feeling
Yeah.
sanity. Like I think they need to have straps to kind of legitimize their crew, and you think of it, it's 3 versus 4. You really want to get down to brass tacks. So I think
Hmm.
sanity wins via shenanigans. We have a rematch at the next takeover.
Yeah, I that seems very reasonable, and if Aleister Black is staying, he's keeping his undefeated streak, you want to change over
Yeah, I want to have
elsewhere.
some change because I don't think either of the other belts are changing. Uh, but well, let's talk about one of them.
Spoiler.
We have
Yeah.
Asuka versus Ember Moon. Now this is an interesting match. Every match with Asuka now has this dilemma. Like, is this the person you want to have beat Asuka? Because she has the longest legitimate undefeated streak. Like Goldberg's number, she broke Goldberg's fake number, like for real.
Right.
So
Oh, wow.
she's been booked stronger than any other wrestler in history. Uh, it seems. So I feel like if you're going to pull the trigger, on it and you want to do something shocking to get people talking about Takeover Brooklyn 3, maybe this is what you do. But at the same time, I don't really think that there's much. I think Asuka, it's better if Asuka moves to the main roster with the belt and has to vacate and stays undefeated. I think there's a lot more value in doing that than having her drop the belt to Ember here. You can have it be a
I
close
definitely agree.
match, for sure, but I wouldn't personally. And you all know I'm getting a little sick and tired of the Super Asuka booking. Uh, but I think that you're in too deep now. I think you can't have it end here. Because
It's
what does
like
that say
Half-Life
about?
3 of booking.
Yeah, what does that say about the rest of the division? Where do you go from there? Okay, so yeah, Ember beats Asuka, but now
Mhm.
she's like losing to Peyton Royce. Like that doesn't make much sense. Um, so I think you have
Right.
to have Asuka move up with the title. Like you can do the same thing that they did with Paige, right? She was NXT Women's Champion when they called her up. So just call her up, have her win like the one of the women's titles, or just be like, "Oh, you're not on NXT anymore, so we have to vacate the title." Have a title tournament, rebuild the division, and just kind of
hmm
reset everything. I think that's the smartest way to go with this.
It's beautiful and genius booking, and we know it won't happen.
Well, it's NXT, so it might. We have to remember that this isn't crazy old man Vince we're dealing with.
Yes, we can hold out hope.
This is
It's good.
reasonably sane, middle-aged Triple H we're dealing with.
Ah, that's true.
So in the main event of the evening, we have Bobby Roode, yeah, versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT Championship. Now, there's a lot of rumors circulating about possibly making an ROH faction down in NXT. Adam Cole's coming in. Um, so I could see him leading that faction. And they're also still running the story with Roderick Strong about him being really obsessed with the title and like wanting to get his revenge on um Bobby Roode here. So I could see him trying to get a title match and like costing Drew McIntyre and kind of turning heel with this like warped sense of like justice and duty. I could see. I don't think Rude's dropping the title to McIntyre. That to me, I don't know. I just that doesn't feel right. Bobby Roode, in my mind, is either the best or second best NXT champion in history.
Right.
He's really killing it with his title run, and I don't want it to end. I don't want the ride to end. I want to stay on the glorious train for a little bit longer. Um, so I'm thinking that Rude retains. I'm thinking Rude by DQ. I'll say this: Rude by DQ after Roderick
Okay.
Strong interference.
That's a pretty solid prediction there. I like the audacity of it.
Yeah. So this show here will be presented by some NXT alums. Um, so you have former NXT stars Shinsuke Nakamura, Corey Graves, Carmella, Sasha Banks, and Neville will be presenting the show throughout. This is kind of like a celebration of NXT. Brooklyn is really the NXT equivalent of WrestleMania. Um,
hmm
so they're really pulling out the stops for this. Speaking of WrestleMania being that's the biggest show of the the summer this is the biggest show of the WWE calendar. Man, I'm fucking turning into Ostauer here. Um, the ropins, they're coming.
Come and
It's
get you.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is SummerSlam, my eloquent transition game, which is not there today. SummerSlam is the second biggest show of the
Year.
WWE calendar. But I think this might, by matches, be the biggest. Like I don't remember how many matches were on WrestleMania 33. It might be the same though. Like we got 13 matches on this goddamn card. Now I have a bone to pick with one of the matches on these cards on this card. Two of the matches on this card, actually. So last Raw, they run two matches, advertising them as SummerSlam Come Early. They ran Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt and Akira Tozawa versus Neville on Raw. And I was like, this is smart. They looked at the SummerSlam card, said, wow, we have too many goddamn matches on this card. Let's blow a few off a little bit early so the card is less bloated.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong, because they're running
Reasonable.
these fucking matches again.
Yeah. And
So Akira Tozawa last Monday on Raw, or maybe it was 2 Mondays ago, I don't even remember, beat Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. No one cared, which was really sad because
yeah,
Neville has had
crazy.
such a great title run, and like the crowd barely popped for Tozawa. So this is the rematch here. I based on the reaction Tozawa got for winning, I gotta imagine they're putting it back on Neville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that'll get more of a pop, but it's on the pre-show, so I don't know.
Commercials.
Did they not? Did they forget that you know if you do it right and you put the cruiserweight in the main card, you can make it work, and it's not just a like a breather card or a breather match.
But you see, Peter, this is a co-branded pay-per-view. We can't have cruiserweights mucking about. We've got matches like Big Show versus Big Cass and Randy Orton versus Rusev that we have to have on the card with, their great builds to these long rivalries.
Wow. Yeah, it's true. I really forgot about the true meaning of SummerSlam. Yeah. Isn't this how it usually goes though? Like SummerSlam always like the past couple years is like popped things early, and it's been real problems.
Yeah, like it always looks real good on paper, but they have like the best match in the middle of the card, and then there's too many matches, and everyone just kind of like dries up. But I don't know if that's going to happen this year because I'm pretty sure that Fatal 4-Way's main eventing, and that should be a good match.
Mm-hmm.
So
So let's go for it.
yeah, we got New Day versus Usos, the SmackDown Tag Championships. I don't know. I think I'd like to see the Usos get the belts back, but I don't think they will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I
Go ahead.
hmm?
Go ahead.
I believe in the Usos. I don't know. That's all I want to say. I think they can do it. I think it's in the cards.
Yeah, I just don't know what you do from here. Like, I think they're bringing in another tag team because I think we're also supposed to figure out what happened to Breezango, who's been, attacking them over the past weeks. And I think they're bringing in a new tag team. It might just be Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. It might be. I've heard rumors that they might be bringing Crime Time back, but I don't know what's the program after this finishes. Like whoever has the belts, what's the program?
Uh-huh.
Like they don't
Yeah.
have another team built up, which is the problem. Because they broke up American Alpha because they have to make Jason Jordan Kurt Angle's Black Sun.
Yeah. So they kind of slimmed themselves down a little too much there.
So I mean, if the Usos win the belts back, you can extend the program. Or I mean, even if they don't, you can still extend the program until you figure out what you're doing next. But like the tag team situation in NXT isn't like roses either, so you can't just call up one of those teams. I think they really made a big mistake breaking up American Alpha.
Yeah. They might come to, realize that after this.
Yeah, I would like to see, and I'd like to see them give Chad Gable more of a singles push. He's killed it in all the opportunities he's had. But instead of seeing like something newer and fresher, like Chad Gable versus Rusev on the card, we have Randy Orton versus Rusev. But that's later. Our third pre-show match is this 6-man that just was thrown together after the events of Raw last week. We have the Hardy Boys and Jason Jordan versus The Miz and his entourage. and a 6-man tag match.
Wow.
Hardys and JJ go over, but I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's not enough reason for me to care about this match to really think too hard about the long-term booking of anyone involved.
Yeah, it seems just sort of like, oh, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
Great,
it's gonna
love it.
happen, and no matter who wins, they're just gonna like pretend that never fucking happened because if it happened on the pre-show, it didn't happen. Um,
Hmm.
that's that. Main card. This is the match. This match here, I'm really excited about. We got Sheamus and Cesaro versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. I like this for a number of reasons that I will now enumerate. It gives
Go
Dean
for
and
it.
Seth something to do. Like they didn't really have a direction. But putting them in a tag team lets you continue their story, which goes all the way back to the Shield in like 2012. Lets you continue that
Hmm.
story, and gives you another tag team, which they desperately needed, another babyface tag team, uh, to fill the gap of Enzo and Cass. They can help. They can put on
Yep.
great matches and help build up the division. They have a bunch of fresh matchups. Um, so they can do that, or they could really quick blow it off and then have Dean turn on Seth, which wouldn't be the worst thing, but I'd rather them like team for a while. My biggest worry about this is I think they're winning the titles here. If they're not winning the titles, then uh, Dean's turning on Seth, and they're going to feud. Um, but I don't think
Sure.
they're going to pull the trigger on that. I wouldn't advise that either, because while Dean Ambrose does make a really good heel, he's also one of the few baby faces they have that's like organically over with the crowd.
Yeah, it's kind of an ace in their sleeve that they really shouldn't. You need to put it in the right place.
But they got to get heat, so they're probably gonna do it anyway.
They gotta get heat, guys. Just you gotta give them heat.
So I'm thinking that Dean and Seth go over in what should be a good match if they give it enough time. And that's always the question with these is like what's going to get time and what's not. Um, which is why I'm sad that John Cena is wrestling Baron Corbin because it's a John Cena match, so it's going to get time, which means I have to watch Baron Corbin wrestle for 20 minutes.
Wrestle against John Cena.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a
So
what a master class of technique.
coming off that 5-star classic he had with Nakamura at the last pay-per-view. Um, so I think Dean and Seth go over. My big concern about this is that if they go over, the temptation will be there for Roman to also go over, and then you reunite the Shield while they have all the belts.
It's just gravitational pull.
That's
Vince he just slowly slides out of his seat like Roman's gotta win. He's gotta get back.
yeah.
Gotta do it.
So that's the one concern I have with them winning the belts. I think this does lead to a Shield reunion at, let's say, Survivor Series. They can have a 6-man at Survivor Series, 6-man elimination match. I think it's leading to that before it's leading to Dean turning on Seth. But I think that's probably how this ends. But that's further down the line. For right now, I'm excited that Dean and Seth are in a tag team. And they've got a direction, and it's going to be good for the tag division. Because in case you haven't noticed, tag team wrestling, when it's good, it's real good.
Yeah. You get to see it's constructive interference, Sometimes you put people together and they work against each other, but sometimes they work on a team and it's teamwork. And a tag team match is the team in the tag team. Got it. 100%.
You got
Next
there.
card. Next match.
Pickle
Go.
Rick's got it. John Cena versus Baron Corbin, and what will be a 25-minute match that should only have been 10 minutes, bell to bell.
Yeah. And the 10 minutes that it should be will be at the end.
Yeah. So Baron Corbin failed his cash in. So no matter what happens in the main event, we know that Baron Corbin will not be leaving SummerSlam champion. But I'm actually a little bit glad that he failed his cash in, because could you imagine John Cena versus Baron Corbin for the WWE title / Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal for no reason?
Yeah, that's an awkward world.
So Super Cena, I think it's obvious that like Baron Corbin had said some things that had gotten him heat backstage. That was a report, and it seems pretty obvious now with him being only the third person to ever fail a cash in, and really only the second person to do so without a story involved. Um, so
Right.
I'm pretty sure he's losing this match as part of his spanking, and we'll see what happens 2 weeks out if he's like completely pushed down the card. If like he's losing to Sami Zayn in 5 minutes on TV in 2 weeks, then I guess we'll know what his fate is.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Um,
Yep.
so Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. This was a pretty good match when they did it on Raw. I'm sure they have some more tricks up their sleeves for the pay-per-view match. I imagine that we'll see the Demon Balor, since this is the first pay-per-view he's been booked on, I think, since coming
Yeah.
back. Um,
And it makes sense against Bray.
yeah.
You know,
Um,
feels nice.
he
Feels
gave
good.
him, I guess, a blood. He poured some what was described as viscous acidic fluid on Bray Wyatt. No, on Finn Balor. Bray Wyatt poured that on Finn after the match on Raw. So I think the Eater of Pins is going to eat another one here. I mean, he's been beating people recently, probably to build him up for this match. But I think this is the first pay per view Finn's been on since coming back, which he got injured last year at SummerSlam. So it's been, I think, a year since Finn Balor's been on a pay per view.
Wow. Yeah. He
And this will
needs
be a year since we've seen the Demon. I figure he's winning here. The Demon is undefeated, I think. So I don't think they're gonna have that. Or no, Joe beat the Demon, right? It was a badass.
uh
Or did he? I don't remember. I don't care. But I think Finn Balor's winning here.
hmm Seems right.
Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore above the ring in the fucking shark cage.
Cage. Kurt was in. So we were in Ithaca last week, and we were shitting around. And I swear, I predicted the entirety of this match because as soon as the split up, I was like, Big Show versus Big Cass in the big match. And the Kurt's like, what do you think they're gonna do? Like, when's the next gimmick match gonna be? I'm like, they got to bring back the cage, the hanging cage.
Yeah, he said like they gotta do the Chris Jericho in a cage thing. I'm like, the shark cage? No, they're not selling that toy anymore. We don't need to live through that again. And then on Monday they announced that Enzo Amore would be in a shark cage. There's a rumor going around that Enzo's going to turn on Big Show in this match and reunite with Big Cass as a heel team, which I hope happens. Because even though it'd be stupid that, like, Big Cass, beat the shit out of Enzo for how many ever weeks that he just welcomed him back with open arms. It's WWE, folks. Logic has never prevented them from making any booking decisions in the past. Why should they start now?
Right.
And I think they're realizing that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts with these two.
Yes.
I think they're realizing that now. So I'm going to hope that they see that light, and I'm going to go with Big Cass over Big Show, following Enzo Amore shenanigans.
Yeah. I think that's
All right.
the best way they can get out here.
Randy
Next.
Orton versus Rusev in a singles match that just has zero build to it, zero story. Randy's lost like 3 straight months on pay-per-view, so obviously he's not going to lose a fourth.
Yeah. This seems like this is the middle card that, this is the breather card, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, It could be a good match. Depends on how much of a shit Randy Orton's going to give about it and how much time they have.
Mm-hmm.
So, see. Again, Randy Orton probably your likely winner. So that leads us to AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens in the never-ending feud that really is a lot worse than it should be. For the U.S. Championship,
Right.
with Shane McMahon as special guest referee. The rumor was, so I don't know, you'll take this if you prefer this or not, but the rumor was that it was going to be Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon at SummerSlam this year. They've obviously changed that to be Shane as the guest referee, which who knows, maybe they set up a match between the two for later in the year. God help us.
Here comes the money.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know. I think
All I
AJ's
want to see is
probably
yeah,
keeping.
huh?
So I think AJ's
Makes
probably keeping.
sense.
What do
Yeah.
you want to see?
All I want is in a Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens match. I just want to see Shane jump off of one of Kevin Owens' table constructions, just off a really tall table tower or some shit, right onto him. That's the dream. That's the true dream
That's your dream
of
match right there.
of stupid gimmick matches.
Just make that the stipulation of the match, a Tower of Tables match.
Yes. Yes. The Tower of Power. No, you can make it the Tower of Power, and the belt's at the top of the tower, or like the contract, or whatever the hell you want to have.
Bring back the fucking triple decker cage from Ready to Rumble / an actual WCW pay per view.
Yes.
They probably have in the warehouse somewhere.
Sure.
It'd only be the second worst cage match they brought back this year.
For real. Oh, brain, psychic powers, don't fail me now. Make this a reality.
All right, so we have the singles match for the WWE Championship between Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers versus Shinsuke Nakamura. They gotta take the belt off Jinder here. I gotta think. Like, if he leaves SummerSlam, I think that's proof positive that he's holding that belt until they're through with the India tour, and I don't think I can handle another 2 months of this.
Yikes. Yeah. And as you were saying before, we were talking before this, his whole sort of shtick is kind of overruled when he goes against Shinsuke, right?
Yeah, because he's all like, you boo me because I look different, you boo me because I talk different. I don't know why I gave him this accent. And Shinsuke Nakamura is like, say what now? I'm Japanese, can speak, only decent English. You're fluent in it.
Yeah.
And also Canadian.
Right. Oh. And I'm still over, so your argument is invalid.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
So this really kills Jinder's gimmick. So I can't imagine that they'd have him win with that and continue cutting the same promo. I think that's the one promo he's cut his entire run as champion.
Yep.
Something, boo me because I look different. Something, boo me because I talk different. Modern day Maharaja. That's the segment.
Cut print, $1 million.
Millions of dollars, except he's not drawing that well in India. That's why they had to bring back the Great Khali.
Awkward. It's a pretty awkward moment there.
Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't know what they do now that Bayley's hurt. I think it was pretty obvious if Bayley were still in the match. Thank you, Nia, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If Bayley were still in the match, that Bayley would win the title, Sasha would turn heel on her, and that would be the program leading into like WrestleMania or something. But now that Bayley's hurt, I guess you could swerve everyone if you really wanted to be bold and probably a little bit stupid. You could swerve everyone, have Sasha win the title, and then Bayley be the one come back and turn heel on her. But I don't want to imagine what a heel Bailey even looks like.
It's a monstrosity.
Um,
Just
so
just like Bio Broly. Just
yeah,
no.
I
Don't talk about
think
it.
I think you hit the pause button on whatever you had cooking with Bailey and Sasha Banks. I think that still should be what you're working toward for WrestleMania, but have Bliss retain here, and then we'll see. Like maybe give Emma a title shot or Nia a title shot. Well, don't give Nia a title shot because I don't want Alexa being hurt. Um, but maybe give Emma or Mickey a title shot or something like that, and run out the clock for Bailey to come back, and she comes back, gets her title match, wins the belt. You pull the trigger on the Sasha heel turn. You're closer to WrestleMania, so you don't have to drag it out as long. I think that's the smart play here. So I'm going to say that Sexy Lexi retains here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
Naomi versus Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. I think Carmella wins this match.
Yeah.
I really think
Yeah.
she's cashing in either during or after this match, and she's walking out of SummerSlam Women's title champion. Because I can't see them putting the belt on Natalya. Even though like it'd be a nice thing to do. She's not a bad wrestler, but she like can't carry the promos. Really to like have a good run as champion, but neither could Naomi. So who knows? But I think Naomi either wins the match and it's a long, grueling match. Maybe she gets beat down by Natalya afterward. And then, Carmella comes out with her pet James Ellsworth and, and cashes in and wins that SmackDown Women's Championship. And, it'll be FAB, however you spell fabulous. I'm not going down that road.
Literacy. Whatever. But
I don't care enough about the turn of events to do that. But that's what I see happening, especially now that Baron Corbin is definitely not cashing in on this show because he can't. I think this is one of them was cashing in on the show. I was fairly certain of that, and I now know which one.
There you go. They figured it out.
Yeah.
Folks.
Which leads us to the main event. We have a fatal four-way match for the ketchup belt. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman, with the stipulation being that if Brock Lesnar loses the title, he will leave the WWE.
Woo!
We can only hope.
He's gonna win.
I don't think he's going to win. I think they do take the belt off of him. He's fighting John Jones. He's under contract, but I don't think he really cares.
Oh, right.
So he's gonna fight John Jones. I'm hearing December is when they're looking for that fight. Vince let him fight at UFC 200. I don't see why he wouldn't let him fight under contract again. Although December is a little close to WrestleMania, so if he gets fucked up in that fight, that might hurt their WrestleMania plans. But I could see him losing here, going off to the UFC, fighting John Jones, win, lose, or whatever, coming back at the Royal Rumble. This is how it's happening. Roman will be champion for WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar will come back and win the Royal Rumble, challenge Roman. Roman will beat him, and then he'll ride off and probably never wrestle in WWE ever again.
Great. Yeah, that sounds too real.
But
to not
for
be
this
what's
match, I don't know. Like I said, the temptation there might be to give Roman Reigns the belt so he can be like, ooh, everyone at the Raw at the SummerSlam with the shields in the ring with the belts, and everyone's going nuts for that. The temptation might be too real for them to resist. I know there's a big push by some people backstage, Paul Heyman, to name one. They put the belt on Samoa Joe, which I think would be probably the best choice. And I would like to see maybe Braun Strowman win the belt. I don't know if he's quite yet ready for that, but I think this would be a good way to test it, at least. So let me rank these options in order from best to worst for your winner. Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Best to worst.
Yeah.
I'm going to hope they realize what they have with Joe. And I'm gonna tentatively, very cautiously say that Joe's winning, but I am fairly certain, like, if I'm not picking a winner, I'm fairly certain I can pick a loser here. I am like 87% sure that Brock Lesnar is not walking out of SummerSlam with the title.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Like, they don't make that up and then have the stuff going on in the back to, not have it happen.
Yeah. I mean, they might be just using it to like work people. Like, I read somewhere there was a thread on Reddit where it's like, what's your most like out there but like reasonable prediction for SummerSlam? And someone said John Jones costs Brock Lesnar the Universal title. I'm like, if they somehow did that, that would be something.
That would be like some weird like Marvel versus DC crossover, you know,
Yeah,
things
that'd
like
be
what?
a lot of promotion for UFC. That WWE would just be giving away. I'm not even sure what they got from the UFC in exchange for Brock Lesnar fighting at 200. I thought they were supposed to get Paige Van Zant for SummerSlam last year, but obviously she wasn't there for that. Um,
Uh-huh.
they were also going to do Chris Cyborg was going to wrestle Becky Lynch. Uh, they started something on Twitter, and then if you believe Cyborg, which maybe you shouldn't. Uh, Ronda Rousey is going to start training to be a wrestler. She's done with the UFC. She wants to do pro wrestling now. Um, and if you
Yeah.
believe Chris Cyborg, she put the kibosh on that because she doesn't want Cyborg wrestling in WWE before she does. How much I buy into that is not a lot, but Ronda's got an ego on her, so I could maybe see it happening that way.
Yeah. I don't know. That would be interesting.
That's a possible WrestleMania match, if she's ready in time, which she probably won't be, if I'm being honest, unless she like takes to it like Kurt Angle did. But
Yeah.
If Asuka's still undefeated when Rousey's ready, that's a money match right there.
Ooh.
Asuka Rousey.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I think with that,
Yeah, that's gonna do
that's
it
gotta be
for
most of it.
us. I've been Kurt, joined by Pickle Rick this week.
I'm Pickle Rick. That's not even close to the Rick voice. I can't
Peter
do it. I'm not a beautiful man.
Peter will be back for the reviews plural. Um
Yep.
so we hope you all enjoy the shows. We would have if it weren't for the results of Peter's speed test, we probably would have tried to set up a classic Saturn Slam live stream for this down at Ashley Schaefer BMW, but we're uh we're not confident that Peter's internet would be able to handle it. So
Yeah.
we're maybe
Not great.
WrestleMania. We'll see. We'll see where we're at for that. We might actually be at WrestleMania this year. Who knows? Um, but that's going to wrap it up for that. We will see you all for the reviews, I guess.
Yeah.
Back then.